Hi, my name is Kenny and I'm one of the developers of the LAMP's Danger.fsm, an AI enhancement mod for Arma 3. In this video I will be making a comparison of the combat skills one-on-one in a reasonably open field between vanilla, LAMP's Danger.fsm, and a current work in progress that I'm preparing to release in a sort of dev state. At the end of this, you should have a sort of appreciation of some of the inner workings of the AI, and perhaps also a better understanding of the distinction between the formation.fsm and the Danger.fsm. This will also be the debut of my editing skills, so I'll actually be crudely cutting together 3 videos. Anyway, this is the scenario which we'll be showcasing all of this stuff in. It only has 3 actors. There's the observer, and there's a blue and a red soldier. The blue soldier starts facing the red soldier, and as the moment we hit go, this combat will get on ahead. So for the first video here, we're looking at vanilla behavior. There's no mods beyond, well, I'm running CBA and Dynasound just for a personal preference. Personal sanity, I should say, but what we'll be seeing is a very static AI, but still capable of engaging. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and roll. Now quickly go into spectator mode, and we can see blue 1 is engaging red 1. I should add that these guys are set to invulnerable, so there's no danger of them killing each other. So what we're seeing is they stood still. They're now engaging each other because they've gone prone, and there's actually a bush here. They've broken line of sight, and there will be no further activity from them. This is pure vanilla. There's no action happening beyond this. No further movement will be seen. After a couple of minutes, the combat mode will actually reset. They'll start to forget the presence of the enemy, and they'll stand up again, and the whole thing would repeat itself. That is vanilla. There is, of course, a strength to this. It means that if you place down a vanilla unit, they will actually do what you tell them to. They'll stand around, stick around. And there's also a design more to this, and that is that the vanilla AI is smarter when in using greater numbers. If blue had a leader that would tell him to actually enter a sort of attack state against the other AI, that AI would start moving, and we can actually demonstrate that right now. But when he's all alone like this, he's not going to call that dynamically himself. Now about the attack state, that's actually worth a video itself. What I mean by that is when the current command of the unit reads attack. I'm in this here listing all of the units. You can see red 1, blue 1, fantastic. That's my user. So red 1 has no command, blue 1 has no command, and well, the player of course never has any commands. Same for the suppression state. This is red 1, blue 1, and also the player. If I check him, he should be set to yellow, which means that this is the default mode, right? He's not going to be aggressive. But if I actually force him into combat mode red, like so, we're very likely to see a additional behavior from him. So he actually goes a bit more aggressive, and now you can see he has self-designated. He's in an attack mode. Again, the attack mode is worth exploring in its own video. There's a strength to it. You can see that he is flanking. Actually, it's going remarkably straight. But if you've ever experienced the AI flanking seemingly wildly off course to try to engage the enemy, that's what's at stake. And it's really difficult to get the AI out of this mode. Giving them move commands and so on has no effect. The only ways that I've reliably found is to, well, kill the target, force the unit to forget the target, or actually move the unit to another group. Those are the only ways. If we continue watching this video, you can see that now blue 1 has that movement impetus, red 1 does not. but he's still fairly conservative with his movement. Yeah, using grenades and everything. This is good. It's vanilla behavior, and it really just goes to show that the Arma3 AI is not by any means a bad AI, especially in an open field, which is pretty much what it has been designed to do. Of course, had there been buildings and things like that, that would have complicated things a bit more. There's also a lot of dead time, as you can see. He's running quite a bit away while taking very effective firepower, and that's both the strength and the flaws, in a sense, of the attack command. He's willing to explore flanking, but he's not the most effective at it. Final words on the grenade. The grenade usage is not affected by any of these AI mods. We're going to see that happen just as it occurs. It is a sort of weighted consideration by the AI. It sees if it's essentially if a grenade is appropriate, and it will throw that grenade. It is a simple weapon config related thing. I think there's also a sort of friendly fire check happening as well, but it is just a core behavior of Arma3, and again, the default Arma3 AI is by no means bad. Anyway, that is vanilla. I'll now be moving on to Lamb's Danger.fsm, and here come my terrible cutting skills. See you soon. So the scenario has now been reset, this time with Lamb's Danger.fsm version 2.4.4 directly from the Steam Workshop loaded. What we're expecting to see here is more animated behavior. We're going to see dodging, and we're also going to see more aggression in moving in. There is also an initial reaction state, which will make the AI immediately see cover the very moment the sort of Danger.fsm is triggered. Again, the units are set to invulnerable, and let's just roll. So here we go. Blue 1 is engaging, as is red 1. Blue 1 is going aggressive. Red 1 is turning because he's in that aforementioned reaction state. He's trying to find a bush or something to hide behind. Blue 1, not so much. That rearwards movement was actually part of the avoiding fire routines. Both of them are pressing forward in a crouch state. That's not all that usual. And we can actually see them moving fairly aggressively here forward. I actually see both of them moving and shooting. I've run this scenario quite a few times, and so there's always some small variations here to how this plays out. But the big takeaway here is, of course, the much larger level of aggression, much more animated enemy, and as well, more quickly running out of ammo. And of course, also with Lamb's Danger.fsm, if there's been buildings nearby, those would actually have sort of mattered to the AI. They might have sought cover inside them, or gone searching through the buildings to find and eliminate the enemy. If we go out, we can see that combat mode for blue is still set to yellow, so he has this level of aggression going on. We can also see that they are dominated mostly by move commands. So if I were to do this, he would go into the attack command, and then actually the vanilla behavior would take over. So that vanilla behavior still remains present in Lamb's Danger.fsm. It's actually not something that's easy to edit out, even if we would like to. But it is also actually part of the Lamb's Danger.fsm design, being an enhancement mod. It adds something on top of what already exists in the vanilla AI. But that's really the difference between Lamb's Danger.fsm and vanilla. We could see that in vanilla, until we gave them the attack command, the AI would actually just remain static and not do anything. Whereas with the Lamb's Danger.fsm active, they'll go much more aggressive, as you can see here. Why aren't we seeing any grenades? Well, they're stood on top of each other. It would be not very prudent to draw or throw any grenades. we can expect them, as they run out of ammunition, to start drawing their pistols and start engaging with that. Again, that is handled by weapon configurations and not so much the Danger.fsm or any AI configuration as such. And well, there you have it. It will of course get a bit janky when they are invulnerable, stood like this in a real scenario. That both of them would have been dead a long time ago. So here we have it. I'm going to end this scenario now and move on to the final sort of unreleased AI project. So here we go. So we're now ready to do the third and final run of this scenario. This one using an experimental AI mod that I've been working on while the rest of the team have been committed to the sort of restructure of LAMP's Danger.fsm, which you may have followed on our GitHub. The two big features of this mod is a greatly streamlined Danger.fsm and also the introduction of a formation.fsm. To understand the distinction between those two things, I'd refer you to an earlier video I made on the topic, but the shortest explanation is simply that the Danger.fsm is a layer of behavior that enters when the AI finds itself in a dangerous situation, hence the name, danger being engaging enemy or being engaged by enemy, whereas the formation.fsm is constantly active. It is distinct from pathfinding because it doesn't deal with pathfinding itself, but it does determine where the AI will path to. So in editing it, we unfortunately lose the native ability of AI to seek cover in bushes and at the side of building and peeking out and so on. I have, however, written a system in SQF which replicates some of those features, but it could definitely be enhanced. With that said, this is an experimental test bed, and hence we're going to see some things there. The biggest win of introducing the formation.fsm is you get a much better control of how and why and where the AI is moving. And hence you will see a much more responsive AI, much more responsive than earlier versions. So with that said, let's run the scenario. I'm going to run it twice and talk us through a bit what happens. There's some debug information on the screen here. I'll try to interpret what happens based on that. I actually removed 90% of it, so it should be fine. So scenario remains the same, blue spots red, and we'll start to engage. We can actually see red is dodging, not really sure what's happening, and they're now engaging, running in place there. That's not good. We can already now see the much greater level of responsiveness to enemy fire, whereas the vanilla AI was willing to just lie there and shoot at each other, no effect. These guys are actually actively running towards each other. Why are they missing? This is all vanilla behavior, but the reason is that their suppression level is quite high. Red one is at 87 and blue one is at 60% suppression, so their accuracy is just really, really low. We can also see that they've primarily moving on using move commands like so. This is, you can see him moving back to cover, preferring cover like that, even though he's actually engaged with the enemy. They're jinking back and forth a bit like this in an attempt to avoid enemy fire. That feature is also present in the LAMP's Danger.fsm, but here the connection to the formation.fsm is much faster, so it's or shorter, so it's a much more direct connection in a sense. As mentioned earlier in the video, these spheres, they're actually pathfinding information when the AI is in a sort of close combat mode or assault mode like he is right now. You can see the same sort of move and shoot routines. The AI is currently set to be very willing to dodge enemy fire like that. Of course, when they're set to invulnerable, you're not going to see the effect of that so much. But the idea has been to design an AI which is more human-like in a game terms, whereas the LAMP's Danger.fsm is more a simulator, coming with panic states and so on. With that said, the same sort of level of movement can definitely be moved and added to both of these mods. And again, you should be seeing this already. A very, very responsive AI in terms of definitely in terms of movements. So they ran out of ammunition, went to their secondaries. This would happen in vanilla as well. What the difference is really just the way they're moving. And now that they're forced to use only handguns like this, you should be seeing the suppression levels go lower, as you can see quite a bit here. And in fact, with this range, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see a grenade being thrown as well. Blue one is really hugging that cover. They're shooting quite slowly. This is because of how the vanilla pistols are configured, so it's not related to the to the mod as such. I think this has been an ample demonstration. I'm going to run it again. I've seen very, very different behaviors on every playthrough, but again, you can see this much more responsive AI, and with a bit of tweaking, I think this can be extremely powerful. So some loss of ability to take cover is very much replaced with a much more active, animated, and potentially aggressive AI as well. Finally, should also be said that this version of the oh, heck, goes a grenade. This version of the mod, of course, comes with the same sort of ability to work with buildings. So we can actually see that red is now fleeing. Oh, trying to dodge the grenade. That's fun. He's got really no place to run. This is one of the problems I've always found in Arma 3. This guy's fleeing, and we can tell because we're getting the debug information. He's probably fleeing because he's run out of ammunition. It doesn't know that blue is probably in the same dire states. He's just trying to get away from actually both of them are fleeing each other now. So what they're doing now is trying to get actually they want to run to their original waypoint where they will reset, but it has been changed in both this and LAMP's Danger.fsm. So if there are enemies nearby, they'll try to run away. They'll prioritize bushes, try to hide in that, or if they can find buildings, they'll go into the buildings and try to hide there until the enemy threat is removed from them. Like this guy, has found a building to hide inside, and I'm guessing that we'll see the same from red. Yeah, in fact, he's just stood there now, really just waiting for the situation to clear up. This is where having some custom animations for this stuff to sort of indicate that they are in a panicked state would be very useful. Oh, and happy days, a error message. Look at that. Well, I'm gonna like the tactics. As the group level tactics. I'm not going to showcase that right now, but it is actually part of part of the mod as well. Let's restart this and rerun the scenario and see if we can get a different sort of level of behavior, and this time we'll stop it before they run out of ammunition as well. So same again, blue spots the enemy, red takes cover, actually trying to roll into a bush, blue going quite aggressively forward, preferring crouched stance because he's in a combat mode. He's actually willing to shoot a bit while moving, but he is preferring to do a bit of he's definitely prioritizing cover and saving his own life. Again, this can be tweaked, but again, we're seeing a drastically more active AI, even more so than Lamb's Danger FSM. Yeah. So to answer an inevitable question, can we now get proper Wa Stalino style rushes from the AI? Yes and no. Mostly no. I am looking into that. That's I think would be the grand price of Arma 3. Getting them to move and shoot like this is part of it, but the default weapon AI in Arma really takes over, where they will prefer stopping to get up a better shot, and there's no easy way to affect that within the FSM that I can tell. So the only way to bypass that, this is fun looking. Only way to bypass that would be to constantly run animations on the AI, which I think is a bit too clunky. I'd like something that is a bit more intuitive, but I'm looking into it. In any case, this has been a showcase of currently unreleased AI mod. I might do like a small Steam release just to get some more feedback on it. It is not going to be as fully fleshed out or fully feature laden as the full Lamb's Danger FSM, but if you'd like to see some AI with very, very sort of direct movement skills like this, this will definitely be interesting to you. And actually doing something like a player versus player Zeusing or something like that would be interesting as well. I suspect that these guys would behave much more like StarCraft or even Command and Conquer units, right? They'd be following your orders much more directly. With that said, thanks for watching. This has been a showcase of 3 different AI mods: vanilla, Lamb's Danger FSM, and this unreleased one. And well, yeah, again, thank you for watching. See you soon.